Well, I want to start by thanking you all for all you're doing in terms of your learning. Uh, Thank you so much for the hard work, for your commitment, for putting up with isolation, as I said in my last talk to you, and for giving so much to your Concord teachers. Just thank you all. As we all face the challenges presented by the virus, I think we should spare a thought for those members of our community who have lost loved ones. There are families in our wider community who've faced the ultimate loss of a loved one, and our thoughts, our prayers, and the love of our community should be with them, whether we're members of staff, students, parents, or alumni. We are one community, and we share your suffering. Well, today is the day we were due to do the college photo, and behind me you can see the castle, you can see a bit of the Parliament barn, I think, and you can imagine yourselves up on that staging in your beautiful clothes, looking good, and I'm sure the sun will be shining on us wherever we are. But please do send in your photos, because we do want to make a college photo this year. It will be different, but equally it will be special. Now today, it's not normally that we would do a college photo on a Friday, and the reason we would be doing it on a Friday is because the UK government changed the bank holiday to today, to the 8th of May. And the reason for that was it's Victory in Europe Day. It's the 75th anniversary of the ending of World War II in Europe. And that made me reflect a little bit, and I want to share with you a very personal story, and I hope you don't mind that it is very personal to me, but I think it resonates with what it is that we're all experiencing, as well as what people went through 75 years ago. I'd like to introduce you to Mary here. Now, Mary, as you can see, is in military uniform, and this photograph was actually taken in 1946, so just after the end of the war. But Mary was brought up in Glasgow, and she left school at 14, and she moved from Glasgow down to near London when World War II, fairly soon after World War II began. She was forced to move by the government and gave up her late teenage years and early 20s to service in the military. So as a result of events beyond her control, Mary moved, as I say, down to the London area, and she gave up those really, really important years, left behind her family, and started a new life because she had to. She had no choice in that matter. She started a new life. And she made new friends. And actually, after a while, she met at the same military base where she was working. She met a man called Philip, and they became friends. They became more than friends, and they eventually got engaged. And you may have already guessed, but Mary is my mother, and Philip, my father. They're both now sadly passed away, but they lived long and happy lives together. And I know if she was alive today that my mum would be maybe not so proud. I don't know. I'd like to say proud of me, but that's maybe not my place to say. But she would be delighted that she has a grandson. She'd be delighted that her grandson has a fiance, you know, and has love and a life. And I suppose my thought here is that just as we are celebrating VE Day, and just as that generation gave up so much of their lives, their young lives, to try to do what needed to be done to make what they considered to be the world a better place, just as they gave up so much, we are now having to make some sacrifices. That is definitely true. But out of this time, yes, there is difficulty, and yes, as I've already mentioned earlier on, there is suffering. But equally, if we believe in the human spirit, and if we can continue to be positive, many, many good things eventually can also come from this, and we can grow as individuals. And I take inspiration from the example of my parents. You know, their lives were tough, but they were good people who gave their best. And, they were, of course, not perfect. None of us is perfect. And you good Concordians have heard me say that many, many times. But I know that they always tried to do their best for myself and for my brother. And I'm eternally grateful to them. And I know that they were shaped by adversity, by what they went through in their young lives. So I suppose what I'm trying to say, when we are all struggling, and when you are maybe struggling with, what's going on and why it's happening, I think also try to remember that we grow as a result of all our experiences, and you will be stronger and if you like, richer. That's like and I don't mean financially, of course. I mean richer in spirit in the longer term for what you are now going through. So stay strong. I wish you were all here with us now. Of course I do. But we're together in our hearts and in our spirits, and in the fullness of time, we can be back together. In the meantime, remember please to send in your photos for the school photo that we should be doing today. And thank you once again for the hard work that you're putting in.